I think this might finally be the year we get to drive buses in Euro Truck Simulator 2. And I'm not even exaggerating, the signs are starting to line up in a really convincing way. With every update, it feels like SCS is quietly pushing things forward step by step. And with update 1.59, they've brought buses closer than ever. A lot of people were focused on the Benelux rework, which, to be fair, looks great. But behind the scenes, SCS has been working on something much bigger across the entire map. They've started introducing coaches into map expansions, not as a finished feature yet, but as part of a long-term plan. The goal here is actually pretty smart. They want to make sure that no matter which DLC you own, even if it's disconnected from the main road network, you can still take on bus jobs. So they're going through the map, focusing on key cities first, then expanding into as many capital cities as possible. And this is where things get interesting. They're also identifying new locations where bus infrastructure can realistically fit into the world. We're talking proper terminals, stations, pickup points, all built into cities that were never originally designed for this. Some of these require small adjustments. Others need full reworks. But overall, it's clear what they're doing. They're reshaping parts of the ETS2 map, especially major cities, to make space for a full coach system. And then there's another detail that honestly changes everything: landmarks. Up until now, landmarks in ETS2 have mostly been visual. You drive past them, maybe slow down a bit, take a screenshot, and move on. But that's starting to change. With the coaches system, you won't just pass landmarks, you'll actually interact with them. You'll be driving passengers to these locations. Think about it. The new landmarks in the Nordic Horizons DLC, the upcoming ones in Iceland, and even the beautiful locations in Greece, the resorts, the beaches, the hotels, all of that suddenly becomes part of your gameplay. It's no longer just scenery, it's destinations. And that's a completely different experience. Now here's the part that's easy to miss. Once you start turning landmarks into destinations, the entire map begins to function differently. Now if you look at this from a systems point of view, SCS isn't just adding routes. They're adding purpose to locations that were previously just visual detail. And that opens the door to something bigger, because once passengers are involved, timing starts to matter. Stops start to matter. Even how you drive starts to matter. It's no longer just about getting from point A to point B, it's about the experience in between. And this is where things could quietly evolve even further. This could mean structured routes instead of random jobs. It could mean scheduled departures, or even passenger satisfaction systems. Nothing is confirmed yet, but the groundwork they're building suggests that they're thinking beyond a simple feature. I know games can get expensive sometimes. You see something you really want, and then the price just puts you off. That's exactly why I like using instant gaming. They've got a huge library of games across different categories, and the prices are much lower than usual. Whether you're on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, or even Nintendo, you can find something that works for you. The process is simple. Just pick your game, go to checkout, choose your preferred payment method, and you'll get your key. Then you activate it on your platform, and it's yours forever. I like how quick and easy that is. It's also safe and reputable, which is important. And on top of that, they're running a monthly giveaway where you can win the game of your choice, so don't miss that. All the links are in the description. Now, the important thing to understand is none of this happens overnight. What we're seeing right now is preparation. Map updates, city reworks, new accessible areas. These aren't random improvements. They're pieces of a system slowly coming together. And if you go back and look at older parts of the map, you start to notice the difference. Some areas feel like they belong to the old ETS2, and others feel like they're already built for what's coming next. And that contrast is where the real story is, because it shows a transition, not just in content but in direction. Euro Truck Simulator 2 is slowly shifting from a cargo-focused simulator into something that represents movement in a broader sense. Cargo, passengers, destinations, experiences, all connected. And if that fully comes together, it changes how the game feels at its core. But here's another layer that doesn't get talked about enough: AI behavior. Right now, traffic in ETS2 is built around trucks and cars. It's reactive, but fairly predictable. Now imagine adding buses into that system. Suddenly, you have vehicles that need to stop frequently, merge differently, interact with tight city spaces, and follow more precise routes. Now, if you look at some of the recent updates, especially improvements in traffic behavior and city layouts, it starts to feel like those systems are being prepared for something more demanding. Because buses don't just exist in the world, they influence it. And that could lead to more natural traffic flow, more believable city movement, and a world that feels just a bit more alive. And this is where things get even more interesting: multiplayer. If coaches become a full system, what happens when multiple players are running passenger routes across the same cities? Now, you're not just sharing the road, you're sharing a network, and that could quietly turn ETS2 into something closer to a living transport ecosystem. Again, nothing confirmed, but the pieces, they're starting to line up. And then there's immersion. Driving a truck is already relaxing, sometimes even meditative, but driving passengers adds a different kind of pressure: smoother braking, cleaner turns, more awareness. Because now, it's not just cargo behind you, it's people. And that subtle shift changes how every journey feels. Now, if you step back and look at everything together, map reworks, new infrastructure, landmark accessibility, system-level changes. It all points in one direction. This isn't just an update, it's a transition phase, and we're right in the middle of it. Now, as for the release date, there's still nothing official. But honestly, if things keep moving at this pace, it's hard not to feel like this is the year it finally happens, or at the very least, the year it becomes impossible to ignore. So the real question now is, are we just getting buses? Or are we watching ETS2 quietly evolve into something much bigger? Because if this is only the beginning, then what comes after that might be even more interesting.